Hello, I'm Warren and welcome to Timbers Flooring. Right, we have a solid oak floor in need of restoration. It's used as a commercial office at the moment, but it's been converted back to a house. And they've got me in here to bring it back to new looking again. So there were some quite bad wheelchair roller office chair marks on the floor. They were pretty tough to get out, but they all come out. I started here with a 60 grit. I used a 60 grit because I didn't want to do too many more passes over the floor, and it came off pretty well with a 60 grit. But no, 60 grit was, I think, the right thing to do, right thing to use. A 40 grit would have been a bit too harsh. Yes, I might have got through it a bit quicker with a 40 grit, but I'd have been doing a lot more miles on the floor. So I decided on a 60 grit, and it came up very well, actually. And then with the edges, which are, you can see me now on, I used an 80 grit. And it all came off quite well with an 80 grit, and an 80 grit is also good to finish on. It's quite a good grit to finish on the edges. Not for the middle, but for the edges, that's a fine grit to finish on. But this floor and house is absolutely lovely. Really, really nice house. Very tall ceilings and grand looking. You can see the open fireplace there on the right, but yeah, it's really stunning. The house is now up for sale, actually, so it's in Framlingham in Woodbridge, so if anyone's interested, about 750 grand will get you this. And now I'm going over again with a 120 grit. So this whole video is sped up by 15 times. It took me, one whole day and part of the next day, about 3 to 4 hours of the next day. So that's just doing the hoovering up before the first coat. And here we go, starting the first coat. So the product I'm using on the floor to give it its finish is a Morrells hardwax oil. So it's XLO 10% is what the product is called. Morrells XLO 10%. And the 10% means 10% sheen level, which is the lowest you can get in a clear hardwax oil. So the idea is it will dry very, very matte, so give a very natural look to the floor. It goes on quite orange, actually, but it does, you'll see in a minute with the pictures and video, it does dye back, it lightens once it's dry, but it's very easy to use, this stuff. So what I'm applying it with is a short pile microfiber roller and a very cheap paint pad. I know paint pads are terrible for painting walls, but they're perfect for applying product like lacquer and hardwax oil to floors, and they're very cheap to buy. You can get them from any DIY shop like B&Q or Wix or anywhere like that, sell them. So this is the next day now. The floor comes up rough, that's normal. So I'm using a buffer here with a mesh sanding screen on it, 120 grit, just going over the floor nice and lightly, very quickly, to make it very, very smooth. You can do this stage with or by hand with 120 grit and rub over the floor by hand, but this is a very large area, so I use a buffer machine to get this done. But whatever you do, after you've done that, you need to make sure you vacuum up very, very well, because whatever is left on the floor is going to be visible, because this is the final coat, what happens after this. So it's very, very important to vacuum up very well. You can see I work strategically with the vacuum across the whole floor. So I've changed the camera angle now because I didn't want the camera to be left there overnight. So here we go with the second coat, applied exactly the same as the first. Just done it a little bit slower just to make sure there's no drips or anything like that on the floor. But I was very happy with how this went, and the customer was over the moon with how I got it, and he didn't expect it to come up so well because some parts of it were pretty trashed by the roller office chairs. Did enjoy doing this job. It was a pleasant one to do, to be honest. So if you haven't done already, if you want to support me and see more of these videos, or if you have any comments, please like, share, subscribe if you can, and I'll answer any questions you might have as quickly as I can. And now you're about to see the finished floor. So thank you very much for watching. Timbers Flooring out.